like a paper toy. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no, no. When they smile at you, darling, and wink, it's a lethal force that'll bring you down. Trying to get you tipsy like a drink. Love drunk girls all over town. Oh, no.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Rumbi.
Welcome to
It's Layered.
Layered.
Yes, welcome. We've got a very special bonus episode for you today. We are joined by the gorgeous, uber talented, and fellow Zimbabwean Tendaiishe Chitima. We're so excited to have her with us. Hi, Tendai.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Nice to have you on here. We're just going to be talking to Tendai, and before we get into that, we gotta, give her receipts because people need the respect that they need, on these here streets. So Tendaiishe, she graduated from the University of Cape Town with a Bachelor of Arts in Film, Media, and Writing and Drama. I also believe she studied for her master's, but maybe she can tell us a little bit about that, which is, for me, mind-blowing, like juggling two fields. She's been a lead and a supporting actress on some South African television shows from SABC 1, 2, and 3, and Ebony Live TV. And in 2017, she had a defining moment in her career where she was cast as the lead for The Cook-Off, which was a Zimbabwean, I guess, romance drama movie, proudly Zimbabwean movie that ended up being the first Zimbabwean movie on Netflix. We'll go into that, don't worry. And it's, she has received awards as a Best Actress at the Zimbabwean International Film Festival. The Cook-Off was shown at the International Film Festival of Rotterdam and Seattle Film Festival. And I know she has some upcoming projects, so I won't divulge too much at present. But Tendai, I hope I didn't butcher too much about your
That was
bio.
a mouthful because it's an amazing bio.
Thank you so much for that. You're really like spotlighting me, and I was just sitting here like, did I do all that? Okay, I did. Okay.
Sometimes we need to be reminded of the journey, So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And speaking on,
I'm so glad to be here.
So happy to have you. And speaking on that, how did you ever start your acting career from when you were a young age to where you are now?
Well, I always tell people that I kind of discovered acting. Not that I didn't know people could act. I did. Obviously, I watched films, I watched TV series growing up, but I wasn't that much involved in the arts growing up, even though I was very artistically inclined. And I grew up in a very conservative environment.
Yeah.
I know there are some places or some spaces rather in Zimbabwe that are very artistic, but there's some other spaces that almost see the entertainment industry as ungodly and like taboo. Don't even work there.
Absolutely.
It's evil.
Mm-hmm.
You will backslide. I don't know, like it's just a whole lot of like controversy about the entertainment industry in some spaces in conservative communities in Zim. So I grew up in one of those conservative spaces. And so I didn't actually know that I could become I just wasn't exposed enough to the arts and to the entertainment industry. But then what happened was, and I always say this, I by chance worked at Haifa. So before I worked at Haifa, in high school, I was a literature student and I loved literature. I loved because we took, we studied some of the plays, such as Athol Fugard's plays and a lot of poetry. And I just loved literature and I loved writing and storytelling. And so I was engrossed in all these worlds that I would imagine and these novels that I would be reading. And I was really, really passionate about literature. So at least I knew that. that I was passionate about storytelling and theater and drama, but never from the point of view of I could be an actress.
Yeah.
And so when I worked at Haifa, those of you who've been to Haifa, my word, Haifa is like a melting pot of anything artistic. And I'd never been to Haifa. I was 19, taking a gap year after high school, and I'd never been to Haifa. And when I walked into the park, and I was just so blown away. And I was like, this, how could I have lived in Harare and never been to Haifa?
And never known.
Yeah.
It was just mind-boggling. But it's because, like I said, I grew up in this conservative space. I don't think anyone in my immediate circles had ever been to Haifa. That's how, like, you know what I mean? So, so then working at Haifa opened my eyes up to the arts. I mean, there was music, there was like they were selling sculptures, they were selling art and paintings, and I was in charge of the kids zone, where we would actually have workshops to teach kids drama and teach them how to move, you know, like artistic
expression.
Yeah, expression and growing their confidence, and would help them perform like skits and music plays and stuff. I was so intrigued. This is, if I could be in this kind of space for the rest of my life, I would be so content. This is what I said to myself at the back of my head. But when I actually finished my gap year and went to university, what I studied was media, because that's what my parents wanted me to study. So I was like, okay, cool, media, here we go. While I was now in first year, flipping through the media course book and looking for minor subjects to study and everything, did I not bump into drama? And I was like, well, I literally had to, I remember the exact place I was. I was sitting on my bed, and I literally started to think of all the reasons why I shouldn't do drama.
Of course.
And then I thought of all the reasons why I should do drama. And I literally had to persuade myself, to talk myself into saying to myself, it's okay for me to do it. And anyway, I said to myself, I'm going to be a journalist, so I might as well learn, you know, to be more confident in front of the camera and everything, or like just, you know, self-confidence. So why not do drama for that? And I intended to do it just for like a semester or two. When I joined the drama class, it's history, really. I fell in love with drama. And I'd gone through a really rough patch in the first semester of my uni because I had to get surgery. I got injured because I was the first team. I'd gone into the first team women's football team, and I injured my knee and had to get surgery. And I was on crutches for like months. And I mean, as a first year student in a very mountainous place, it was a bit tough. But when I started doing drama, like while we were doing drama, I actually found drama very therapeutic because the orthopedic surgeon had said to me, if you ever want to run with your grandchildren, you need to stop playing competitive sport. And for me, sport was really my outlet. Like I was the top sportswoman in high school and everything. So it was like I was giving up a part of myself. And drama really filled that kind of, it wasn't a hole. I wouldn't say I was incomplete, but it just kind of replaced sports. And it was very therapeutic. I remember first year when I fell in love with drama, I just knew. I knew I was going to be an actress. I was just like, this is it. I'm done. But, you know, then the journey from there, you know, was interesting.
I was going to say.
My parents.
I was going to say, you actually touched on what I think we can both relate to is the idea of what is acceptable, you know, and, you know, coming from a conservative culture and backgrounds ourselves in a lot of ways, it's like, this is what you do. This is not what you do. So we
what's expected of you.
Exactly. So maybe if you can walk us the journey from like the moment you realize like, okay, this is my thing, and getting to actually do the thing, and that journey of, you know, inevitably there'll be conflict, right? Because like you said, you thought about why you shouldn't do it and why you should, and then what steps you actually took to then become like, okay, this is what I'm pursuing. Yeah.
Well, what happened was, the great thing, like I said, I was on my own in Cape Town. And so I took it upon myself to really make it a self-discovery journey. I said, okay, Tendai, really think about what you want to do outside of, you know, your parents, your family, even your friends. Because I'd moved to Cape Town to UCT with some of my friends from high school who knew me, right? You know, when people know you as a certain type of person, and now you're trying to be something else.
You switch up on them.
Yeah, they're like,
they don't
like, girl, you ain't that. Like, please.
They don't like the new.
Needed. So I was also juggling that, right?
Yeah.
The fact that I actually went to uni with some of my friends who had studied drama. I mean, well, not studied, they were part of the drama club in high school. I never did drama in high school. In fact, at uni, that was my first time acting. You know what I mean? So, so for them, it was like, oh, you're taking drama. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so they just kind of allowed me to do it. I mean, they hardly even came to watch my uni acting things. I think until like it was second or third year when they realized Tendai is actually serious about this. You know, that's when some of them started coming through. But it was a journey for me to what was great was that I went to this church called His People on campus, and that church was so artistic. It was, we would do poetry nights, we would do plays. It was great. So it was a great environment for me to foster my love for the arts in a conservative space. You know what I mean? Like my type of conservative that I had grown up was so strict that they didn't allow the arts, but this conservative space allowed you to be yourself.
Like, it was like the two worlds were meeting.
Exactly. They were not against each other. No, it's actually, God created you with talents and with gifts. So why don't you use them? You know what I mean? So they were really great. I think that support system really helped me to be okay with pursuing the arts and pursuing who I wanted to be. And I really do owe them a lot, because that bridging of it's okay, it's not like taboo to, I should embrace this and be all that I can be. I mean, they would literally speak over me and be like, you're going to be an actress and you're going to do well. And you know what I mean? Like, it was great. Wow. It was such a hype. Even after I left, by the time I left UCT, I was so sure it was almost like a calling. Like I was called to be an actress. I was so sure of myself because I'd been in an environment where I was encouraged. And even though, yes, the entertainment industry can be very, you have to be sure of yourself. You have to know your values. You have to know your boundaries, because you might get caught up in all kinds of things. And so that also helped me to learn from people who were saying, you can actually be different in that space. You can go into that space and be different. You don't have to, taken along with whatever's going on in there. Just be yourself, but just remember who you are. Like, they really taught me like these principles that equipped me. So by the time, like I said, I finished and I was now having to tell my parents, I was very sure of who I was, why I was doing it, and how I would handle myself in that space. So that was the journey I had to take in embracing what I was believing I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Do you think because you got that support at that time, it made you ready to tell your parents? Or how did that conversation go? Like, I'm guessing they're very supportive now. And are they? Yeah, you have to let us know. How supportive are your family and friends?
So I literally set them down. And you're right, the support I got during uni, really, like I said, by the time I finished, I was confident. I was so sure that this is exactly where I needed to be and where God was calling me to go. And so I sat my parents down. Literally, it was like a very formal sitting down.
Yes.
We weren't just sitting. No, I said, Mom, Dad, please come sit down. Yes. So we sat down and I said to them, I know I went to uni for media, and I did, because I kept media as a major. So I ended up graduating as a triple major because I knew if I had dropped media in uni, there would have been a problem. So I kept everything and I added what I wanted to add. And then so I sat them down. I know you took me to uni for media and journalism, but while I was at uni, I was studying drama and I loved it. I loved it so much. I really want to be an actress. And obviously my parents did not know that space very well. So they really discouraged me. They said, we don't think that's a good idea. We all know like what the entertainment industry is like. In any way, are you going to be able to sustain yourself? I mean, there's so many questions. And then they said to me, you know what, Tendai, I think this is really a phase. So just go through your phase and get over it and we'll be okay with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not, it's a phase, you'll get over it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, please look for a job. So that's how the conversation went. But I was very stubborn and adamant because the thing is, I wanted to honor my parents as well. So I started looking for a job, but I was miserable, really, to be honest. I was miserable. I had moved to Joburg and there were so many changes that were happening and I didn't know the space I was in. Like I said, acting in uni was my first time acting, and the entertainment industry here is so different from the entertainment industry in Zimbabwe. I didn't know where to start, really. So I was just winging it and hoping for the best. But like I said, I still had a lot of confidence. You know, when you really want something, you're always talking about it, or you're always thinking about it.
Yes.
You're always dreaming about it.
Yes.
So I actually ended up bumping into someone who hooked me up with an agent.
Wow.
The whole encounter was so amazing. And I've had those experiences in my life where I bump into someone or something happens and it's not planned, or it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like
it
divine.
catapults you. Yeah, it is divine.
Yeah, and it's like it's nothing that I can say, oh, I was clever and I did this and this. It's almost as though, like I said, because I truly believe that I'm called to be in this space and that this is what my purpose is. Like things come into alignment with that.
For sure.
And I've had several instances where even my own parents now, when they look at my life, they're like, oh, okay. They can't argue with me and say, you're not supposed to be in this space. Even though they still want me to get like, you know, a job they understand, because this they don't understand. But there's some instances where they're like, that happened? Wait, you won an award? Like, wait, we're on Netflix? What does that mean? What? I remember my dad asked me, you're on Netflix. What does that mean? What does that mean to be on Netflix? Like, can you make me understand how big of a deal this is or not? You know what I mean? So there's certain things that have happened that have kind of confirmed that I'm in the right path. I'm on the right path. And so to them, they're eagerly waiting to be fully persuaded. I wouldn't say they're fully persuaded yet. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there.
Yeah. I think it's also from a protection point of view, like we've talked about in previous episodes, that parents, especially of our generation parents, for them, it was planned, you know, 9 to 5, work there for 40 years, be nice to your bosses, rise up the ranks. That is it. Like, don't leave that box. So I think for them, it's always from a protection point of view. So even your dad asking you, that's when the spark is like, no, but my daughter is doing something else. So definitely, they definitely have it. It's just one of those, it's scared. They're just scared that something's going to happen.
I can understand totally, fully. Yeah, for sure. And you actually touched on something that's quite interesting. You mentioned that the film industry or the entertainment industry in South Africa is a bit different to the Zimbabwean entertainment industry. Could you give us a bit of insight into at least the Zimbabwean entertainment industry, what it is like? Because similar to you, like you mentioned Haifa. Haifa, for anyone who doesn't know, is the Harare International Film Festival of the Arts. Sorry, Film Festival of the Arts. And it really...
That's where we met, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. It was before that. Was it?
We met at the premiere.
At the premiere of Cook Off, yes.
Okay.
Where we met, for sure.
Right.
So it really is it's like stepping into a different world, 100%, you know? So like, tell us a bit about the entertainment industry there and what it's like. Like, because, yes.
So Zim entertainment industry, I think the specific types of arts that have been made very popular, or at least that are in the limelight, it's mainly music. I feel like music has been very, very much sort of like almost like a brand ambassador for Zimbabwe. Like if you think of Oliver Mtukudzi or Stella Chibeshe or Chiwoniso, there's certain people who've been able to take Zimbabwe to the world. with music and also sculpting. I feel like there are a number of artists, sculptors who've been able to also take Zimbabwe to the world. I think those two. And then with film and TV, it's been a bit difficult. So the history of Zimbabwe film and television is that we had there's a season in our history where there were a lot of NGOs that were sponsoring films, such as Yellow Card. I'm sure some of you know it, Yellow Card and Neria. Those were sponsored by NGOs that had a specific message to give to the people of Zimbabwe, right? About it could have been about AIDS, it could have been about sexual health, it could have been about widows and just how to handle family matters and issues, social issues. And so that's where our film industry was at that time. And these films, you know, were actually groundbreaking, and a lot of even Africans know these films. So you find someone from Kenya or from Nigeria or South Africa saying, "Oh, I remember Yellow Card," you know what I mean? But then we didn't have an independent sector for film, right? So Kuga, for example, is an independent film. So you find that with independent films, you have a lot more creativity, you have a lot more space to do whatever you want with the story, because you're not necessarily doing it for a message, you're doing it for entertainment, you're doing it for your own cause and your own, I mean, let's just talk about this issue or whatever, but it's not like serious, and you're your own sponsor, so you have that creative agency. And so I think with film and television, where we're at now is we're trying to build that independent space. You know, we're trying to build that independent filmmaking space where there's more creativity, more agency, where people have more freedom to tell different types of stories, not necessarily for a message. It could be even fantasy. It could be, let's go to space. It could be, I don't know, like some random story about a dog, who knows? Like, but it's not really necessarily with a message about poverty and, you know, I don't know, politics or whatever. It's just a story. And with that liberty, like I said, to tell it the way you want to tell it. So that's with film and television. And I'm sure some of us know, in terms of, so entertainment industry has been, we call it, it's a developing space, but I think, like I said, the music industry in Zim is a bit more further, I think, along the way. I mean, there's still so many artists who are struggling. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I think you have a lot more avenues, I think, to really reach mass media. And now, obviously, with Netflix, with film as well, I think we have that avenue as well. As time is going to go on, you'll find that we're going to have a lot more productions, you know, mass media. Because I think that's the issue with how to create a sustainable career. The more people who have access to your work, the better. So it's just about getting our entertainment industry to a place where we can really package our arts and they are consumed by as many people as possible, not just locally, because Zimbabwe is a very small market, but internationally, right? And the more people are consuming our work, the more money we can make and the higher our standards can become, because we have that capital, we have that. And yeah, I mean, there's so much I could say. I'm really passionate about the entertainment industry in Zimbabwe. I mean, there's so much I could say.
I know, I get that. And I think for me, you've spoken so, you know, it's so true. And I think Zimbabweans are incredibly creative people. And I feel like a lot of our creativity is undermined because it doesn't fit into this is how it's supposed to go, or that self-expression isn't always really encouraged. But like you said, sculptors in airports in like the US, like their work, or, you know, things like that. And, you know, I think we really want to see ourselves on the stage and have the, you know, the opportunity and the platform so that we can see more of ourselves there, because I really truly believe we are some of the most creative people. And I'm biased, of course, but you know.
But it's true.
For sure.
It is true. It is true. So you mentioned
and writers.
cook-off.
I forgot writers.
And writers.
Oh yes, authors. Yes, that is
for
true.
sure.
That
There's
is
so many amazing Zimbabwean writers out there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are curious to actually read like what it's like, or even just immerse themselves into the story.
So
Anyway,
Yes.
how did it happen that Cook-Off became the first Zimbabwean film to make it on Netflix?
So it's a long story. I don't know if you all know that the first release where I met Rumbi, it was actually 2017, right?
Yeah.
And I think at that time, the director and producer, Thomas and Joe, I think they did have a bigger vision of, they wanted the film to go onto a bigger platform, but I don't know if they actually knew how and when and what. So in 2017, we all watched Cook-Off, in a private screening, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's me. And then
you were amazing. You were amazing. And like, it was such a special, but it was such a special, I remember being there and the energy and just like, I think as viewers were watching this, like, yes, we can do this quality of entertainment, which is just sharing our stories. It was special for sure.
Thank you so much, Rumi. It was a special night. And so we all then just dispersed, and we all went our ways. And then I remember Thomas and Joe telling me that we're going to have like a tour, like a festival tour. So we all did the festival tour thing. I mean, some of the places we couldn't go to because we didn't have funding. Some of the screenings I was able to attend, and then that was it. So 2018 went by. And then 2019 also went by. And then at the end of 2019 into 2020, there was the Pan-African Film Festival that was happening. And I was able to go with both Gonorajo and Cook-Off. But then around about that time as well, it was January 2020, and Thomas started saying some really interesting stuff to me. He was like, oh, Tendai, we're in talks with somebody. And I'm like, oh, you're in talks with somebody, okay? And because it's been 2 years since I've really heard anything substantial. It's just we've been going to festivals. I wasn't even sure who he was talking about. I was just like, you know what, I trust y'all. Whatever you guys are going to do it. And so he kept saying, we need to do a photo shoot for this person that we've been talking to, not person, but we've been talking to some, distributors, and we need to do a photo shoot so that, we're compiling like promo stuff, come through and do it, whatever. And so I would go and I just played along because I wasn't really sure what was going on. And then, but he seemed very excited, but then I was busy. Like I said, I went to Los Angeles, which was fantastic. I was busy doing my own thing. And then COVID hit as well. So I think there was so much going on that I actually almost low-key kind of forgot about what Thomas had been saying. And I was going through my own things. And then in May, that's when they decided to tell Tendai Nguni and Tendai and I, and tell us that it was Netflix. And it was one of the most, I was so shocked. I've been watching Netflix for a while now, right? And so for me to actually think that I would be able to go onto Netflix and like see myself inside Netflix. Like, how is that even possible? Wow. And just the number of people who are going to be able to access the film, that for me, and for it to have been a Zimbabwean film, because that for me it was special, so special for me, because there was a time when I didn't think that I would make it as a Zimbabwean actress. I thought I would have to, a lot of people end up moving to the States, or you kind of adapt to South Africa, and you're not necessarily Zimbabwean. It's more like maybe a South African production would take you to where you want to go, or like a Hollywood production would be a breakout role. So I was just so happy. So that's how it happened, is that they managed to negotiate. I think they found a connection at Netflix, and then they were able to negotiate and get Cook-Off on Netflix. It was a long journey, but I'm so grateful for their perseverance and their tenacity, because it wasn't an easy journey to be on. But they did it, and I'm so proud.
Yes, you should be, because I mean, for you two, you were in, you obviously met Rumbi in Zim, and then for some of us who are not in Zim, it was just amazing because we had no idea. Obviously, that's another thing you just said about accessibility and even just media being able to, in 2017, when the film came out in Zim, even if you weren't in Zim, you wouldn't know about it. You would just be like, oh, okay. Maybe your cousins would mention, oh, we're going to a premiere, whatever, but like she actually did see it. So accessibility, as you said, is so important because then the rest of us, we caught on late and we were like, oh my God, this movie, so it's such a full circle moment even for you to be like, we saw this and to see it come there and the rest of us to enjoy it just the same.
It was beautiful. And I think what was fascinating when like my friends like in the US or whatever, like, you should watch Cook Off Zim. It's on Netflix. I'm like, I know. And like, but it was also like, it was such a, also for me, like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see that come to life. And I think Zimbabweans the world over felt this moment of pride because I think when people think of creators or countries, they always think of, Nigeria and then South Africa. It's like, and then maybe Kenya, but like there's no, like Zimbabwe, we feel some type of way, sometimes because we're not always given the platform. And so that was such a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I love that you could represent as a Zimbabwean on that. Are there any fellow Zimbabwean actresses that inspire you, have inspired your journey, that you look up to? You worked with some incredible people, even on Cook Off. So is there anyone like, that who you really look up to?
Definitely. I think I'll just start with the last point you had about working with amazing people. I literally studied, remember when I decided to add film as a major?
Yes.
We watched Scenario at UCT as part of the curriculum, the courses, and for me, that was so special. Again, imagine sitting there, I'm probably the only Zimbabwean in the whole university theater, and we're watching a Zimbabwean film. And if you had told me then that day that, oh, you're going to be acting with this woman, years later, and you're going to be on Netflix, I don't think I would have believed you. But, just acting with Jesse Ngoshi, knowing that it was my first film as well. So it was so special, like just someone I looked up to, someone I studied their work, someone who really inspired me as a woman in the industry, and then acting with them. And now she's so full of wisdom. And also she was married to Charles Mungoshi, whose books I had read, remember when I was still in high school, falling in love with literature. And so it was just so special for me. And then obviously there are the other iconic people that have been acting in Hollywood. Danai Gurira, there's Tandy Newton as well, who's half Zimbabwean, but the people you look at and you're like, wow. I think for me, I must just say, I struggled a lot with the issue of, do I need to be elsewhere to make it? So even though I'm inspired by Lupita Nyong'o or Danai Gurira, all these African talented women who are in Hollywood, I always think to myself, am I gonna have to go there? And what if I'm not able to? Does that mean my dreams won't come true? You know what I mean? Or I don't have a link to the States, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't born there, and so it's always this like when you're dreaming and you're saying to yourself, my journey is gonna be different from everybody else's. So though I'm inspired, I need to understand that my story is not the same as them, and I need to be able to embrace where I'm at and embrace who I am and be inspired by what they've been able to do, but know that I'm gonna have to do something different and be someone different where I am right now in Africa. You know what I mean? So I'm truly inspired, and I hope to work with all of them, like Nanai and Lupita. I'm always imagining myself like, oh my gosh, imagine. I wonder what kind of movie it would be.
It would be beautiful.
It would be.
I honestly so connect to your sentiments about, do I have to leave or have to follow a similar path as other people in order to do what I believe I'm supposed to do? And I think honestly, like, God works in ways where he's like, and God, the universe, whoever you want to call, works in ways, it's like it's supposed to look different because then it's supposed to be your journey, and it's supposed to, I don't know how to explain it. It's something that I've really had to, try and grasp, because if we all had the same thing, like, then what is it there? It doesn't make it unique. But honestly, like, we're rooting for you, and I personally believe that things are changing. I really feel there's a shift.
Yeah, there's a definite shift. Yeah. We talk about this all the time. Right now, there's a movement. So even hearing you saying a movie with Lupita, then I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not even for me. It's not even that far fetched. Like, it's like, yeah, of course, it's gonna happen. So definitely, there's a big shift.
We claim it.
We're putting it in the universe.
Putting it in there. Absolutely. Awesome.
So, do you have any current or upcoming projects that you want to share with us that you're working on or coming out soon?
Yes. Well, at the moment, I'm featuring on a couple of shows on Showmax, and Gonera Show is upcoming. It's coming soon, coming out internationally soon.
Yeah.
They've had the premiere. They had it in Los Angeles, which was fantastic. So they're just now planning the release date for the rest of the world. But I'm also looking forward to a couple of projects that are coming up. And I can't tell you what they are.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're just gonna leave us hanging. We're gonna have to just...
Maybe there's already a movie with Lupita and and we don't even know.
Yeah, we are. We see you. Sis already done did it. Sis
is like, oops.
No.
But the one that I can mention, I'm said to be in a film collaboration between Nigeria and Zimbabwe. That's all I'll say.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I know, right?
Yes.
It's so cool. So they're doing the pre-production, and I'm really excited about it. And then the other one I can't mention, I just won't mention, but it's gonna be so exciting. You're all gonna be so proud again. So proud of them. So, but they're still working on it, and they're gonna make it as special as possible for everybody. So
we'll be watching, so don't you worry.
Yay! Thank you for your support, ladies. Like, I'm so encouraged, and it's so, I think, it's always so good to find that people, the work that you're doing is making an impact, and that people are actually inspired, and that they're also, so excited about your work. So I'm really great. This morning has been so special so far. Like, I'm so excited.
We're so glad that you could take the time to be with us. I feel so you're so relatable, like, and meeting you in person was the very same thing, like, and that's what we want to show the world, that, like, we are just like normal people, and we have normal decisions and dreams and goals and aspirations, and we're doing incredible work. So thank you so much for taking the time. Tendai, where can people keep up with you so that when you drop the gems and you reveal the project,
when you spill the tea,
where are you at so people can find you?
Awesome. I'm mainly focusing on my Instagram at the moment. So find me at Tendai_Chitima, TENDAI_CHITIMA. And then I am active on Twitter now and again, but it's the same handle at Tendai_Chitima. So those are my two main, like, announcement platforms.
Yeah.
Link them in the show, in the description and everything.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any final thoughts, Amanda, that you want to share before
This has been so good for me. Like, I just think, like, sometimes, and you said it yourself, sometimes people feel the need to leave to conquer their dreams, but you're like a living, breathing example that it isn't always the case, but doesn't mean that you have to stop. And also late bloomers, because I think people always think from a young age, you got to know where you're going, what you're doing, but like, look at you, and like, it totally worked. And I think I find you so inspiring because, and even as a woman, the fact that you still took a chance on you, and all I can say is keep going, and thank you. We're so honored that you came on our podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you, Amanda, for those amazing words.
Yes, and thank you. I mean, she took the words right. Like, honestly, what more can we say? We will be rooting for you, supporting you, cheering you on, because
Thank you, Ruth.
you know we're big fans of your work. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to another episode of It's Layered. As always, you can find us on Instagram. It's Layered, ITSLAYERED. And you can email us your thoughts of this episode. It's Layered Pod, ITSLAYERED pod, POD, @gmail.com. And yeah, share the support. What other Zimbabwean actresses and entertainers inspire you? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next episode.
And if you haven't watched Cook Off, make sure to watch it.
It's on Netflix, y'all. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Seriously. I mean, all right. Thank you so much. Take care and see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Be careful of those